and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. Thanks for watching. My name is Rich Tarani. We're at Interop New York 2010 at the Jacob Javits Center. On the program today is Saraf, who's the CEO of Utela Presence. Davida, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about Utela Presence, please.
Well, as you know, the telepresence space, the video conferencing space, is a really hot area right now. Everyone is considering telepresence, as an alternative to travel, having just more better experience without having to move so much. What we're saying is, it's not just travel that we want to replace. We're working to replace the telephone. So instead of having complicated conference calls or web meetings, you can just use video conferencing with the simplicity, with the cost, with the easy setup and infrastructure needed with View Telepresence's product.
Very exciting. And now the company is relatively new, right?
Mm-hmm.
You announced it, I think, perhaps on one of these news programs at a past event.
We did actually. We did launch it just a couple of months ago. It's part of a much larger group called the Zenith Group. But yes, this is a new product for us.
And what has been the reaction from the market so far?
I think one of the most interesting parts about the product that we have is, telepresence is something that people are already very familiar with. But when we ask them, have you considered telepresence, they say, yeah, but. So what we're doing is we're taking away the but. We're just saying, it's so much easier to use, it's much more affordable. And what's interesting for us is even though we have positioned our product among the small and medium-sized businesses, we've had response not just from any particular vertical, but people from all across industries using it. One of my favorite examples is a doctor in Texas who bought it, and what he did is he has one in his clinic, and he has 4 or 5 of them in the pharmacies that he works with. So when he saw this product, he could immediately think of how he could put it into his working ecosystem. So we've had not just businessmen, but we've had doctors, lawyers, all kinds of professionals really use the product. So it's a much wider audience that we're appealing to than some of our competitors.
And part of the reason for that is that telepresence is a technology that can be used in so many applications, and it's so useful, but at the same time, the high-end systems can cost $300,000 or more per room.
Correct.
And now you've made it easier to install, so you don't need to spend weeks or months to build a room. You have a more turnkey solution and a more cost-effective model for pricing. Can you go through that?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, what we have worked on is something called the virtual facets technology, which has been developed by us. It is a very complex codec technology that compresses the video so that you don't need to have a dedicated internet line. You can use your office basic bandwidth to use. What we have done is we've made, the backend technology is extremely complex, but we worked hard to make it very simple in the front end. So it's very easy to install. It currently costs $14.99 if you want to buy the entire system, which includes the codec, the mic, the speaker, the camera, everything that you need to get started. You just have to hook it up to a television that you already own. And then if you want, we have different monthly models starting right now. We have a special offer on $49 a month. And you're telepresencing.
Wow, so that's extremely low. When you talk about a $300,000 single room system, now we're talking about, obviously it's a different experience, but generally the same concept, which is you're getting a very high quality view of someone located anywhere in the world.
Absolutely, and one of the most special things about View Telepresence as a company is that we are very close to our consumers to understand what their business requirements are. So apart from making it very simple, the features that we have for businesses online, like for example, you can share a PC, so you can share a PowerPoint on any presentation that you have. You can have, we're working on speech to text. You can record a conversation. You can have it multi-party, which is something that you would not easily get. And my favorite part of what we have added for View Telepresence is that we have these View Telepoints now across America, which are business centers that you could just rent by the hour at viewtelepoint.com. You just pay and you go there. So when you buy a View Telepresence system, the entire country is the other side for you. So say if I want to have an interview with you and you're somewhere in Pittsburgh, you can just go in, I can go to my office and have a discussion with you. So we've really engineered the product more towards understanding the business's requirement rather than pushing technology.
So you could use this theoretically if you wanted to have a meeting with a potential client or even an existing customer who happens to be located near one of these offices, and they just go in and...
Absolutely. I mean, one of my biggest concerns is when I'm traveling, I want to know what my staff is doing back. So as I have a jet set schedule, I just say, okay, New York, we have one that's in the Grand Central Building, go up, talk, have my discussion, come back. If I want to interview a potential candidate, I don't need to handle the cost of him flying down. And generally what we found is people want to have a lot of short conversations through the days and weeks rather than, one long conversation. So, it's more about bulk time than quality time. You can just use it for 10 minutes to have to talk to 10 people every single day, anywhere across the globe.
Now, I should just mention that your company is launching a telepresence community on TMCnet this week, and we're really excited to have you there. So it's a tab at the top for the viewers, a tab at the top of tmcnet.com, which you can click on, and it will be an area where you'll be able to learn about all of the news and information happening in the telepresence and video space. So we welcome you to check that out and bookmark it. And before we end the interview, I was hoping to ask one final question, and that is, what can we expect next from the company? What's coming?
A lot of interesting things, but I think we're going to have to save that for the next interview. What we have for right now itself is so exciting. But I'm pretty sure that when someone buys a View Telepresence system, it's a relationship that goes on, and we keep adding new things, which is what we have in the yearly AMC. Any upgrade, anything special, you get it with the product.
Oh, great. Okay,
yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
For the users and customers. Thank you so much for being on the program. It was
Thank
great.
you, Rich. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.